Hi guys, what's up? It's Rayvon from Lola. I'll be downstairs in just a minute. Hey guys. Lola's mad at me now. Anyway, my name is Rayvon from Love Lola and welcome to my channel. Today I am so excited about the bag that we're making. I know I always say that, but today, y'all, this is my new favorite bag. I love everything about it, so let's just get into it. Shamballa had a competition recently where you could represent your country, and the country that won was France. So in honor of the winner, she named the next pattern after them. So this is the France, guys. So her bags tend to be a little bit on the larger size, and I typically don't wear big bags anymore. I'm more of a, I like a crossbody size bag. So I did print this bag out and make it at 85%, and it is perfect for me. So I'm gonna step up for you. Y'all, how cute is this bag? Like, I feel like I have to stand with my hands on my hips. I just want to pose. Like, this bag is so cute. All right, now let's get into the specs a little bit. As you can see, it does have a snap closure on the side, so you can unsnap that to get it a little bit wider. This front piece on the front is a pocket. Okay. And it actually has snaps to hold it together. How cool is that? This is the back. She does a recessed zipper. And inside you have the options to do what you want to do. So I did go ahead and do a zipper. And also a slip pocket. So that's what we're going to be doing in the video today. But you can do it however you like. I found this bamboo in my closet. I purchased it a couple of years ago from Joann's. So I'm not sure if it's still going to be there, but I'm sure you can find something similar from Joann's or from somewhere else. But yeah, you can use any kind of wood, or resin would be really cool. If I had time, I would have done resin. I was going to pour some myself, but only had 2 days to get this done. So I found this in my closet, and I actually love the way it looks. I'm always buying random stuff, and I fuss at myself for it, but I'm glad that I do, because usually, sometimes years later, but eventually it comes in handy and I can use it. So everybody like me that just buys stuff with no plans for it, it's okay, because eventually it's gonna get used. I did add purse bottoms. I did add purse bottoms. These things right here, I added them, okay? It didn't come with the pattern, but I wanted them. Shit. Are you guys ready to make this bag? You have to be, because look at this bag. Like, I just can't even. All right, let's go get started. Guys, as usual, you can find the pattern and also a link to all of the materials that I used down below. Just look down beneath the video. You're gonna see a lot of words. All the information is gonna be over there in those words, okay? It's a lot of stuff. Just read it. It's cool. If I have time tonight, I'm gonna add some timestamps. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. I may add them in a few days, but you can definitely find the materials and the pattern down there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and let's get started. All right, guys, so I've got all of my pieces cut out, and I've also gone ahead and interfaced all of my pieces. Now check out your pattern. You're gonna notice that there are some marks you need to make. So on your exterior pocket, on your exterior main top panel, on your gusset, on your exterior pocket if you're adding a logo. And if you would like to add feet, I did add feet, but that is not part of the pattern. I just wanted to do it. But yeah, so go ahead and get everything cut out, interfaced, and get all your marks done, and then we'll get started. Also, go ahead and mark the center piece of all of your pieces. It's just gonna make life easier. The first thing we're gonna do is get our magnetic snaps installed on the exterior pocket contrast piece, and we're gonna be installing the male side. And when I put those snaps in, I did use a little bit of stabilizer on the back to reinforce it. Okay, grab your exterior pocket lining and lay it right side up. And then you're gonna place them right sides together, pin it, and then we're gonna go sew it at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Push your seam allowance towards the bottom. And now we're going to go and top stitch on the lining at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right. Now grab your exterior pocket and use the marking if you would like to go ahead and get your name tag attached. Once you've done that, we're going to place that and the first panel we worked on right sides together. Get them pinned together and we're going to sew it together. A lot of togethers, huh? At a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Go ahead and put a few snips along the top, and then we're going to turn it right side out. And roll our seams as best as we can. And then we're going to head over back to the machine and top stitch this at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Grab your connector piece. Go ahead and get that line down the middle transferred to the back of your panel. And then you can grab some double-sided tape if you like. I'm just going to use pins. You're going to fold it in towards the middle. All right, once we've got it pinned, we're going to go over to the machine and we're going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance along both long ends. Take that piece that we just did, fold it in half, and cut it. Okay, now grab your handles and you're just going to insert it, pin your connector, and then go baste it at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Grab your exterior main panel tops and we're going to get these attached. Place that on top and center it. And then we're going to go and baste it at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Go ahead and do it to both of your panel pieces. Grab your exterior main panel bottom pieces. One is going to be cut in your exterior fabric and one's going to be cut in a lining. We're going to place these right sides together, pin them, and then sew them at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Turn your seam towards the bottom. It might be a little difficult on that one part that has all of that has the connector, but we can do it. All right, so we're on both of them. We're going to turn the seam towards the bottom and top stitch. I've decided that I want to use foam for this bag, so I'm going to go ahead and trace out foam for these two panels. All right, I've got my foam cut out for my two main, my exterior panels, and I've gone ahead and cut out foam also for my gusset pieces. So I'm going to get them basted on right now at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. If you would like to use a stabilizer instead, that's what she does in the instructions, and that would work great too. I've just been using this combination lately, interfacing and then following through with this foam, and I just really like the way it's been feeling. So that's what I'm going to do for this one. I've got my foam attached, okay? And now we're gonna grab our panel that has the lining on the bottom, okay? This piece is gonna be our back piece. We're not going to be putting snaps on here. We're gonna grab the panel that has the lining on the bottom piece, and I did have to go and re-get those marks done for where I'm gonna be adding my snaps because of the foam. So go ahead and get those marks back on. And now we're gonna get those snaps. And now we're going to get our snaps attached. All right, so grab your two exterior panels, and we are going to be adding a couple of rivets. So I measured up 1/4 inch from that separation and then centered as best as I could, and that's why I marked for my rivets. And we're going to do that to both panels. All right, there we go. Now let's grab our exterior pocket, the one that we worked on earlier. And we're gonna go ahead and snap it. And once we get it snapped, we're going to pin. Make sure that everything is lined up really well. Shouldn't have any trouble since it's snapped closed. And then we're going to go and we're going to pin around the entire thing and then sew it at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right, there we go. Now let's get our magnetic snaps installed on our gussets. All right, and as you can see, I did go ahead and add some stabilizer to the back of that. All right, guys, so at this point, if you would like to add piping, this is the time to do it. The instructions do give you a link if you need some help on getting your piping done. It gives you some instructions on how to do that. Now, I am going to be doing kind of a modified version of piping because I did this on my last bag and I really liked it. And also because I'm lazy. This way is super fast, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. So I did, like I said, do my bag at 85%. So the piping today, based off of the size that I'm dealing with now, the piping I cut today, they're going to be 6.5 inches long by 3/4 of an inch wide. I went ahead and bent that in half and based it at 1/8 of an inch the long way. And then because this is so tiny, normally I would just pin the piping on, but because it's so tiny, I can't afford it to shift it all. So I did go ahead and add double-sided tape right in the seam allowance. Okay, and then I'm going to get these added. And I'm being very, very precise with this because it's so tiny, I don't have room for error. It won't show. So making sure that that lines up exactly with the edge. All right. Perfect. And then I'm just going to veer it off because remember we have that mark if you are doing piping. I use that so I can know where to start. And now I'm going to veer it off to that mark. Veer off my bottom. And I'm going to go and get that attached at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Grab one of your main panels and your bottom panel. And we are going to get those sewn together. Place them right sides facing each other and match up your midpoints. We're going to clip it and then we're going to go over to the machine and sew it at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. right. Press that down, and we're gonna sew. We're gonna go and top stitch 1/8 of an inch along the bottom panel. So your seam allowance should be going down behind your bottom piece. All right, and now we're gonna top stitch along that bottom piece at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right, let's get the other panel attached. So we're going to be laying this right side up. All right, so we're gonna place this panel right side up. And then we're gonna align the bottom piece right side up, centered. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna get it clipped and then go sew it together at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. After you got that second panel attached, you should have gone ahead and top stitched just like you did the other side. Now let's grab one of our gussets, and we're gonna place it where our panel is right side facing up and our gusset is right side facing down. Find those midpoints and get them matched up. Okay, now lift up one side and match up your corner. Pin. Lift up the other side. Match up your corner and pin. And now we're going to pin all the way around. And if you would like, you can go ahead and put a few snips in your gusset right around that curve. Okay, so I pinned in the middle, and then I pinned at the top, and I worked my way down. Now, when you get to those corners, if you see that there's a little bit of extra hanging out of that gusset, that's no big deal. You've got everything lined up really good, so now you're just going to trim that off. That little piece that's hanging over, just trim it down so that it fits. Same thing on the other side. There we go. These seams can get a little thick. If you have a domestic, then you can go and cut the foam out of your seam allowance. And also when you do your interfacing, cut your interfacing a little bit smaller than your bag pattern pieces so that that won't be in there either. All right, now we're gonna go and sew this together at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. When you're sewing your gusset, it tends to be easier if you sew it with the gusset side facing up. You don't want it like this. So gusset side facing up, and then start your sewing. Okay, once you get your gusset added, take a peep inside and make sure that you like the way it looks if you added piping. If you do, then go ahead and get a, well, if you want, I'm going to go ahead and get a second line sewn just to reinforce that a little bit. I'm going to just sew like 1/8 of an inch outside of what I just did. Okay, now go ahead and repeat that entire process to get the other side, to get the gusset added to the other side. All right, let's go ahead and get her turned out. Ah, so excited. Ooh. Yes, I like this. Now, if I could turn back time, I would have made my piping bigger. But this is fine. It's going to work today. Now I know. I'll try to remember to go back and edit that so that you guys won't make yours as small as I did. Get those seams worked out. Oh, that's pretty. Yes. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. I don't know if you can see it because it's so tiny, but a little bit of my basting is showing. That's no big deal. I am just going to grab a seam ripper and pull those out. So if you do have some basting threads showing, just get them out of there. All right, let's move on to our main zipper. You're gonna grab your zipper. I believe it's 16 inches. If you are doing if you're doing it 85% like me, then you're gonna cut the zipper at 13 inches. You're gonna get your zipper pull installed, and then you're gonna measure down about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch and make a mark on both sides. And this is going to be on the side that your zipper is closing. That's the side you want to do that to. Once you have your marks, you're just going to pinch it so the wrong sides are touching, and then bend it over. So it's kind of going to be like at a square. You can bring it over to your machine, or you can hand stitch it to get that down, to get that attached. Go ahead and place a piece of double-sided tape along all of your short edges. Then you're going to just take the edge and bend it over at about 1/4 of an inch. Repeat that process to all of your pieces. Now grab one of your exterior or your contrast piece. And you're going to place the zipper right side facing down. And you're going to get it attached about 1/4 inch in. Line up the raw edge of the zipper and that panel. We're going to clip it together. Okay. And now take one of your lining pieces and we're going to lay it right side on top of that. Right side down and get it clipped together. Get that sewn together at about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. All right, now you're going to finger press that and let's get it pinned all the way around. Once we have that pinned, we're going to top stitch along here at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, and then we're going to baste around the entire thing at 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to start here on this side with the exposed edge and just make my way all the way around. All right, let's repeat that process. Exterior panel is right side up. Grab the other side of the zipper. Going down about 1/4 of an inch. There we go. And lining up those raw edges. Place your lining right side down. All right, we're going to attach it 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Just like before, we're going to press it open. And then we're going to get it pinned. And we're going to baste around the sides and top stitch along the top. Oh my goodness, that's so pretty. I love it. Okay, let's get our end attached. You can do thread. I mean, you can do fabric on your end. I'm going to be using this little hardware piece from Emmeline's because it's so pretty. Grab one of your lining pieces and measure down 1 3/4 of an inch and draw a line that is 10 inches long and centered. From that line, you're going to measure down 1/2 inch and make another 10-inch mark. And then you're going to connect the sides. Now we're going to go and get that rectangle cut out. For my zipper template, I cut a piece that is 9 inches long by 2 inches wide. Then I measured my first line down 3/4 of an inch. And from there, I measured my second line down a total of 1 1/4 inch from the top. So 3/4 inch for my first line, and then 1 1/4 inch for my second line. And then I just went in from the side pieces, for the side marks, I just measured in 1/2 of an inch. And now I am going to get that rectangle cut out. I've cut my zipper pocket about 10 inches by 14, and I have my zipper piece cut at about 11 inches. I probably should have done 12 to have a little more hanging out over, but it's fine. I've got my zipper tab put on. I'm going to place my zipper so that it is closing to the left and opening to the right. And then I'm going to place it right side up, centered. pin it. All right, and let's get that sewn on at about 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right, rotate it upside down, and then take your zipper and once again lay it right side facing up and pin it. All right, same thing, sew it at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right, now we're going to be placing this under here eventually. So if you're having a problem getting this to lay flat, see how it's doing that? What you can do is unzip it. I added a little thread on the inside so it wouldn't come undone. And push your zipper out onto that material like that, see? And then go and add a top stitch. And that way it will make this zipper lay flat against this pocket piece, and it'll be easier to get this on top. So I'm going to go do that right now. I'm going to give my corner a little bit of a curve, nothing too serious. There we go. Now I've placed double-sided tape about 1/8 of an inch from both sides, and now we're going to place our zipper panel on top. You don't want your lining to show, so if you have to give it a tad bit of a trim, then go ahead and do so. Alright. Now we're going to head over to the machine and top stitch around the outer edge at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. If you're using contrasting thread, then go ahead and start and end with your thread long so that you can pull it through the back. That way you won't have that top stitching showing. Grab your pocket so that the zipper is opening to the right, closing to the left. And place some double-sided tape right along the outer edges of the zipper. And next we're going to go ahead and get this installed on the lining. Yay, we're reaching the, what is that called? We're reaching the finish line, guys. Oh no, it looks like there's a scratch on my zipper. Dang it. That's annoying. Dang it, I gotta put it on from the side that I already... Annoying, annoying. You know what? It's fine. Now, if this had happened a year ago, this would have been a very critical moment because I used to not realize that I could just add a zipper to zipper tape whenever I want it. It used to be very dramatic for me getting... This is hard because the tape is on here. Yeah, I used to not realize that I could just add zipper to tape. Oh, it's sticking to my hand. Come on. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that, zipper. What have I done to you? There we go. All right, yeah, I used to not realize that you can just add it so easily. It used to be a big deal, but anyway, okay. Now that we've got that back on, we're going to grab our panel and we're going to get the zipper centered, okay? We want the whole panel centered, actually. So kind of eyeball it. When you feel like you're good, raise it up and get it put on. All right. I always start with one side and place it centered on the zipper and pull it kind of taut and push down on that. And then I slowly push down to the other side. When I get to the other side, I'm going to squeeze the zipper shut. And once again, try my best to make it so that the zipper is centered on the side. All right, now I am going to turn this over and I'm going to cut right along that bottom piece so that it's now 2 pieces. And then I'm going to pull that towards the top. And now I'm going to go over to my machine and I'm going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch seam allowance right along next to that zipper. Okay, all the way around. Again, I'm going to start with my thread long so that I can pull it through to the back, but I'm going to go all the way around. All right, once we've got that done, we're going to flip it over and fold your pocket panel down. And I actually cut this one a little bit too long. I want it to end where the corner is for the bottom. So I'm just going to trim it down to about 1/4 of an inch above where that corner piece is. So it looks like we could have made our pocket about 2 inches shorter. All right, and now I'm going to go and sew around to get this closed up. When you do it, sew it from the top and move the lining out of the way, just so you can make sure you're not getting anything caught up in there. All right, I'm going to be making a quick slip pocket. I cut my lining 9.5 inches wide by 12 inches long. And we're just going to fold this right side together. And then we're going to pin all the way around, well, these 3 sides. And then we're going to go and sew it at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. But when we do it, make sure that you leave a hole about 3 inches wide so that you can turn it inside, so that we'll be able to turn it right side out. All right, I'm going to turn this right side out. Take one end and get it as smooth as possible. Pin it and then head over to the machine and give it a top stitch 1/8 of an inch, just along that one border. All right, I'm going to carefully fold this in so we can get that closed up. Just pull at it a little bit and it should fold up just fine for you. Okay, now find the center of your pocket and place it. I place mine about 1 1/4 inch down and centered. And if you like, you can get a little bit of double-sided tape and place it along the edges. I'm going to just pin it. All right, and now we're going to go and top stitch at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, down one side, across the bottom, and up. And when I come up on this side, I'm going to just remove those pins and catch that opening and get it shut. Grab your lining with the zipper pocket if you decided to do that, and then grab your zipper piece. You're going to place it right side up, matching up the center points of both of those. Pin it and then sew it at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. I'm going to, yeah. Next, you're going to grab one of your lining contrast bands, and you're going to place that right side down centered, get it pinned together, and then sew it at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. All right, now we're going to fold our seam fold our seam allowance so that it's going down towards the bottom. And now we're going to go and top stitch along the lining at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, now we're going to repeat that same process to get the other side attached. So grab your other lining, right side up. Take your zipper panel and place it right side up. Match up your midpoints. Pin them together and then baste it at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Grab your other lining contrast band, match up your center points, get them clipped together, and then go sew them together at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Again, you're going to push your seam allowance down towards the bottom. There we go. And then we're going to go and add a top stitch of 1/8 of an inch along the lining. All right, let's get our lining assembled. So we're going to go ahead and unzip it. Or you can leave a zip, it truly doesn't matter. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pin our linings together, making sure that you start off right here so that this part matches. So where the lining and the top lining part meets, start right there. Get them joined together on both sides. There we go. Okay, and now we're going to pin along the side and the bottom. All right, so for our lining, we're going to start at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and when you get about right here, go ahead and increase it to 1/2 of an inch for the rest of the way on both sides. And then on the bottom, we're going to do it at 1/2 of an inch seam allowance across the whole thing. We're going to be leaving an opening to get this bag turned out. If you are making it the normal size, leave a 9-inch opening. If you did 85% like me, I'm going to be leaving about a 7.5-inch opening. Boxing. Okay, so I've gone ahead and trimmed down my seam allowance. I left the pieces right next to where we're going to be boxing longer, just to make it easier to open those seams up. Okay, so just grab your box corner and pull it apart like that. That's all you have to do. Very simple. And then you can either open up your seams like that, or you can just push one side that way and the other side the opposite, whichever you want. Whatever you want to do. We're going to clip it together and then sew it at 1/2 of an inch seam allowance. I've repeated it to the other side. Now I'm going to head over to the machine and get those both closed at 1/2 of an inch seam allowance. Let's trim down that corner. We're almost done, guys. So excited. Okay, we're going to get these attached to each other. So we're going to grab our exterior panel. We want it to be right side facing out. Our lining is wrong side facing out. And then we want the back of our bag touching the side of the lining with the zipper. All right. Make sure that your zipper is tucked in between the interior and exterior pieces. All right, I'm gonna start off by lining up the midpoint of my gusset with the midpoint of my lining. Same thing on the other side. It's going to fight you, but it's okay. All right, and now I'm going to line up the midpoints of the front and back panels. Remember when I told you to mark your centers? It's gonna make your life easier. Okay, and now we are going to pin all the way around, one section at a time. All right, now we're going to go and sew this at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right, I'm going to trim this down just a little bit. And then we're going to head over and turn it out. I should have opened up these seams before I sewed it. You see how they're all going the same direction? I should have opened those up and laid them flat, and that would have made our top stitching a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So I'm going to take a couple of those stitches apart so that I can lay it open and then go back over it. I know better than that. I don't know why I did that. Rushing, but there's no point in rushing when it's just going to make your life harder later, you know? All right, now I'm going to lay these open, these seams, and go back and do a quick little top stitch right along where I just did to get that back connected, okay? All right, let's get this turned out. Hopefully it won't be too hard. And she's wrinkled. I hate when that happens. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Relax, right? It's cool. All right. So I think I'm gonna get my little Cricut little bitty hand iron warmed up so that I can put it inside and see if I can press some of those wrinkles out really quick before I add my top stitch. It didn't get it all the way out. I forgot there was foam in there, so it was pretty thick, you know, to get to it, but it did help out. If I decide to sell this, or if somebody buys this, then I'll probably put a cloth on top of this part and something inside and then iron it from the outside to get all of the wrinkles out. But this is good for now. Okay, so now I am going to go and roll these seams so that I can get it pinned and get my top stitch done. All right, now we are going to go and top stitch around the entire thing at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right, let's check it out, guys. Oh my God. I freaking love this bag. Oh my goodness. This is nice. Oh my gosh, y'all. This is so nice. I can't believe I made this. This is crazy. Okay, let's, oh my God, I love it. Okay, let's see what it looks like with the sides closed. Oh my God. Y'all. Oh. If you did yours at 85%, just know that it's going to probably take a minute for it to be able to easily snap, because it's, you know, it's smaller, there's a lot more pressure. Oh my God, y'all, I love this bag. This is nice. Sammy, baby, you did it. This is nice. Oh, this might be my favorite bag right now. Oh, look how, baby, that's sexy. Just look at those colors when you peep it open. I'm from Louisiana, so this is kind of giving me Louisiana, LSU, Mardi Gras vibe. So you know I am feeling it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Yo, this is dope. I don't even do bright colors like this, but I want this bag. I might keep this. Oh my gosh. All right, so if everything looks good to you, you can go ahead and head back over and get your lining closed up. All right, guys, and there we go. You did it. You made it. This is the Friends by Shamballa. I know you love it. If you made it, please tag me. I love to see the videos. I love to see all of the pictures of the bags that you make. I'm obsessed. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Please, please, please don't forget to hit like. I know that sometimes you forget, because sometimes I forget. I find myself watching videos that I watch all the time, and I'll look down and be like, I never hit like. What in the world? So I get it, but please, 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 if you can just take a second to go and hit like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. I'm getting close to 2,000 subs, so I am just super pumped about that. So if you guys can help me out, I really appreciate it. You can check me out on Instagram. My name is @LoveLolaLooks, and that's LUV Lola Looks. I'm on TikTok under the same name @LoveLolaLooks, and I am on Facebook under Love Lola. But I'm sure you will see me in any of the sewing pages, because I'm always there. I love to look at people's bags and just converse and talk about tips. I just love everything bag making. I am obsessed with it. You know, that's what I want to do all day, every day. And if you're like me, then, you know, holla at me. I'm always ready to talk about some bags with you, I swear. All right, so till next time, happy sewing, guys.